Ladies and gentlemen, the RT Boxing Show with Mr.A. Episode number 18 shall begin shortly. Thanks for tuning in. Kindly hit that thumbs up button. I'm your host. This is the Ready Talk Boxing Show, also known as the RT Boxing Show with Mr.A. Catch up on the 17th is what we're talking about. Catch up, a little boxing news. But mainly just catch up on the 17th. Deep into the 17th, not the beyond the televised states here fights. Besides the Miriam and Ramirez, those two, but a little beyond that. We'll talk about some light heavyweights, of course, with Whtye. Talk about with Mindy. That was a very shocking performance. Get a little deeper into that. But we are going to start off with the nice announcement of Kovalev taking on Marcus Browne. That is a nice, out of nowhere in your face. Marcus Browne is ranked number 1 by the WBO. And what is good about this matchup, this announcement, is the no mention of number 2, Anthony Yarde. So you get the winner of the Kovalev Marcus Browne. Unless there's a rematch clause, you get 1 voluntary and then your mandatory defense. So Anthony Yarde should be getting a title shot within late. You figure a rematch puts him at end of this year, then a voluntary, then so probably end of next year. Anthony Yarde should be having a WBO light heavyweight title shot, and that's including the rematches and voluntary matches. So the Marcus Browne and Kovalev, well, there's a unification thrown in there. That is a very interesting light heavyweight move right there. You figure who can. Everyone is really inquiring and wanting to know, okay, Kovalev, he got beat to the body by Andre Ward. He didn't necessarily get your traditional African-American style get beaten. He got inside beat. He got inside boxed. So it's Marcus Browne is more of an outside boxer. I don't know if you can even categorize him as that African American slick. I think he's more of a decent 1-2 outsider. Inside, I think he still swings pretty good. He got Top Dog, but I just now starting to see Top Dog is very skeptical, but he did throw and land the punches, so you got to credit him on that. He throws some crisp little uppercuts. And the hooks could be a little wideish. So it's going to be interesting to see, does he take it to inside on Kovalev? He does have the power. Is he going to sharpen the inside hooks? Will Kovalev deliver that 1-2? Marcus Browne, after the hot route win, if you watch that fight, I think he does deserve the win. It was a tough fight, but he held a lot. Now, I don't know if he's going to do that strategy of falling in and holding, kind of like the Klitschko jab and grab. That's what he did on Hot Rod. And since that point, he really hasn't faced anyone who could fire back at him like that. Top Dog, Monahan, those guys weren't offering the movement and the firepower that Hot Rod was. Kovalev might not offer the movement and the, the movement and the rhythms, changing the rhythms as Hot Rod. That was giving Marcus Browne problems. But we know Kovalev got that range fighting. Now this, you think, should answer the question, can Kovalev answer a body attack? Has he improved? It automatically gives you that idea of that in your head, but is Marcus Browne that much of an inside attacker? So we'll see, I think he fought like that because Top Dog brought the fight to him. Kovalev ain't going to go in swinging like that, so it'd be real interesting to see how that one plays out. Right now, I'm probably leaning at I'm going with Kovalev stopping him, just to throw real fast balls on that one. In other light heavyweight news, there was Whtye taking on Meaty Amir. Now this one, it was, I think, a shocking performance, as in how Whtye didn't look dominant as a lot of people probably thought. Myself, I thought he would figure the movement of Meaty out, and eventually land that shot. And it goes to show that not only is he defensively flawed with the right hand in front that allowed his the left hook to come around constantly and swell his eye up, but he's almost rhythmically, or I don't know if that's even the proper terminology. He's almost his rhythm is his mind state, his skill set wise, is almost rhythmic. I'm stuck on the word there, but it's almost set to a rhythm, to a flaw. He's his pity pat, his setups. He outworks you, but if he can't find that landing shot in between the workup shots, he can be just countered, thrown in between as Meaty was. He's lucky Meaty didn't have the power, because while he was over there throwing these pit pats, trying to find a setup, Meaty doing his little side to side movements and just throwing the punches. He'll throw the hooks, throw the straight ahead rights. Meaty probably didn't win 2 rounds in that fight, but he made it very competitive instead of a boring snooze fest. It got to the point where you saw Whtye, jabbing, moving, Meaty was moving, showing some movements, firing back. It got to like the 4th round, you're like, okay, Whtye hasn't really figured this movement out. Meaty is able to land hooks, land the left hook. Like I said, he was swelling his eye up. And Whtye was doing his same thing, he'll jet tap 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 tap, hit him with the right, hit him with a body shot, but it was nothing consistent. The fight went 12 rounds with that. In the 12th round, it got a little dangerous, but it's the 12th round. You swing for it. Whtye connected on him. He connected right back on Whtye. It's you don't really read too much into the last 10 seconds of a 12th round, 15 seconds. They're just swinging for it. But it was like, it showed you can punch with him. It was a really eye-opening. To me, I take this performance. What was the performance? Everyone looked at Triple G like, oh, wait a minute. Was it really the Daniel Jacobs that everyone started looking at Triple G like, oh, I could fight him? I think Whtye kind of had like a a low like a maybe trimmer of a boogeyman type notice in the light heavyweights. It was starting like maybe the media was trying to build that type thing. He's the skillful light heavyweight, you know. He's with that Lomachenko team, the Usyk, Lomo, Derevchenko. I believe that's his other one. But it also involves it comes out that he doesn't look dominant, so this might be the performance where other opponents in the light heavyweights step up, considering a Bosel, you know, might be a little more eager to take that matchup, you know. But even though we look at the light heavyweights, looking at the light heavyweight division, it's not a really threatening division here. You know, this is the Double RT Boxing Show. I covered a few of these fighters in the rankings. So if you followed this show since the pilots and the beginning of season 1, you might recognize some of these names. So let's go through some of the rankings. WBO, we got this champion Sergey and Marcus Browne going. Number 2, Anthony Yard. 3, Mike Lee. 4, Igor. That Kohler this week. Number 5, Alvarez is tied up in the WBC contract. Eventually fight Donna Stevenson and Bottle Jack winner somehow. Number 6, Dominic Bosel. You know, he's out there. And after that, you kind of just... They're still building themselves up. Kurat Murat might make some noise. I recognize that name. He might get up there to number 6, 5 somewhere. Damien Hooper, I seen him covering a little bit of the Australian boxing. You got Joe Smith at number 13. Blake Caparello just lost. I know the name. IBF. Marcus Browne, again number 3. Anthony Yard, number 7. Michael Lee, Monahan, Blaine Caparello, 12, 13, 14. WBA, Bivol. 1, Barrera. 2, Jack. 3, Alvarez. Number 4, Koro Murat. 5, Marcus Browne. He's over there in the WBL, so you can kind of start scratching these people out. Number 6, Shifat Ishufi. Now, just recently, we covered him on the Double RT Boxing Show for this reason. You know, that's what we do here on the show. We try and we cover the people in the rankings, so that way when their match comes up and they get the shine, we know that, okay, we can cover them. We're not just going to feel left in the dark. Now, the fact that Shifat Ishufi is set at number 6 and Joe Smith is number 7, Jurgen Berman is number 8, Hassel number 9, I could say I know who Shifat Ishufi is. And if you on this show, you know, we didn't do the post-fight recap, but the fight that he had with Pintos was he's not getting no higher than 6 performance. Shifat, he's a hometown fighter. I don't see him getting past Kurat Murat number 4, Alvarez number 3 for the WBA. I believe he has some type of WBA international. He has like a WBA ladder belt. I forgot what it was, but he's not making no noise past number 6. That's my opinion. Mr.A starts right here on the Double RT Boxing Show. And finally, we move. Still talking light heavyweights. You know, thumbs up, you know, for the light heavyweight talk. Still talking light heavyweights. We're moving on to the WBC, which probably has the meatier names, the sexier names, the well-known names, the more known names, we should say. And we should go for number bottom up. Number 14, even though he's on some other ones, but Enrico Collian, you know, that's who better be beat. I don't think better be beat. I'm sorry, I forgot the names mixed up. But I forgot the name who he beat, but it's similar. But anyway, you got 13 Shabransky, 12 Monahan, 11 Mediamar. That's who Vlasdik just fought. Vlasdik is number 2 in this one. Number 1 is Alvarez. Like I said, he has that deal, his final step aside money contract, that he fights the winner of Jack and Stevenson. So 1 Alvarez, 2 Vlasdik, 3 Jack, 4 Browne is with Kovalev. So 1 through 4 is tied up for the WBC. They're done. So number 5, and where it starts fresh from, is number 5, Joe Smith Jr. He's been quiet. Number 6, Blake Caparello. He just lost, if I'm not mistaken. Blake Caparello lost to Isaac Chilemba, who is number 9 right here. So that fight was also on the 17th. Right? 17th. That's what was big on the 17th. It had a lot of mid-rank fighters earning a spot. Like I said, with Vlasdik being the headliner for the light heavyweights, he fought. But like I said, making great position was Isaac Chilemba with a victory. Coming at number 9, he defeated number 6, Blake Caparello. And like I said, in the WBC, Alvarez is basically tied up for that. He's fighting that winner of Jack and Stevenson, tied up. Number 2, Vlasdik fought. 3, Jack. 4, Browne, tied up with Kovalev. So number 5 is Joe Smith Jr. 6, Blake Caparello, who just lost his spot, most likely to Isaac Chilemba, number 9. So 17. So if you're into the numbers of the rankings and you didn't know, now you know. Isaac Chilemba, don't be surprised if you see Alvarez fighting Chilemba for a title shot, because hey, who knows to say Jack, who knows? Jack, Stevenson, Alvarez, that's a nice little trilogy. Who knows how that belt's going to end up between those 3? Those fight, that's an interesting question right there. And alone, where is the WBC belt going to go? Stevenson and Jack is coming up. Then you got Alvarez right after that. Crazy. Even though I do think I will give, I think Jack could take Alvarez. A tricky one is Jack and Stevenson. That's a tricky one, folks. Any day, sometimes you just flip that coin, and it just doesn't land, right? It just keeps spinning. Like, oh, damn, man, you ain't gonna make it easy for me. That's a tough one. That goes back and forth. But what doesn't go back and forth is the boxing knowledge right here on Double RT Boxing, where it's ready talk boxing, and we're talking the 17th of March. Going into another division of what going on. Like I said, so you had Marcus Browne being an announcement against Kovalev. You had Alexander Vlasdik. So that's some light heavyweight news. And then you also had Isaac Chilemba defeating Blake Caparello, which was a WBC good power shift. You had number 9 defeating number 6. So that was a good one. And making a little news is the number 9 WBC super welterweight, Jamie Mununga. And I only say that because, it was a rematch he won. And right now, Jamel Charlo is looking for opponents. You got Julian Williams at number 3. You got Shaleski taking on Jacobs. You got Marinosian in the dark somewhere. You got Julian Williams in a great matchup against Gallimore. Great matchup. You got Sergio Garcia. I think he's a Spaniard or Argentinian, so those guys are always there for paychecks. Rabachenko And then you got number 9 Mugongla, so he comes in with a win. So just give him a little shout out. Number 9 did defeat someone. He defeated in a rematch Navarzad. So we're just gonna do a little shout out to him, just a filler in. Matty Askins. He's the was it Great Britain? I want to say cruiserweight champion. He got himself a nice little victory. Where's he at, Matty Askins? I want to say, God, yeah, there he is. A cruiserweight. I was correct. Matty Askins. I always forget his weight class, but got himself a second round TKO. And looking at this is my second time talking about him on the show. Well, actually third. I did the coverage of him, of the post-fight Craig Kennedy. And then I thought I did like a video of who he was going to fight. I think like a possibility, like that's a perfect example. I did like a possibility suspect, looking at the opponent's process of elimination match. I got one with Keith Thurman. I left you guys hanging, but it's coming. Who I think Keith Thurman's next fight is, it will be process through elimination right here on the Double RT Boxing Show. We'll do that one together. Stay tuned for that one. Stay tuned really shortly. Now, Matty Askins got himself a second round TKO of Stephen Simons. Now, I like his hand speed. He seems to have pretty good feet movement. It seemed like pressure might throw him off a little bit, but he has decent inside tack to catch you coming. Now, I only see him ranked in the WBO as number 13, so he still has a way to get himself going. He looks like a very high domestic fighter. This is my second time really fight-wise covering him, but like I said, and he's even in this. And I know he fought since the Kennedy, but he seemed a little more to me. He seems a little calmer, but now he just needs to polish up a little on the inside to me. So something's a little off on him, or maybe I need to see him on that test. Like I said, I think domestically he seems pretty solid. But like I said, he picked up a win on the 17th as well, and another nice little victories for the 17th in the heavyweight division is Robert Helenus. He got a victory, and Joyce got himself another young career victory. Now, at the rate of Robert Helenus, he might be an opponent for a Joyce. What's his name? Andy Kanowski. Adam Kanowski, Charles Martin, and Robert Helenus. That is a fight. Oh man, that is you could put that on a fight. It's the meaningless, but I'm gonna watch it type fight. Why am I watching this fight? I have no idea, but I'm watching it and I'm happy to watch it. Thumbs up, because that is a match. Charles Martin and Robert Helenus. You're like, this is a shit match. F that match. But the boxing fan in you were like, Charles Martin, Robert Helenus? I'll check that out. I will check that. Yes, Double RT Boxing. Well, so Robert Helenus, he picked himself up in an 8-round unanimous decision over Yuri Backenstove. I thought Robert lost the fight. You know, excuse me. You know, there was moments when Robert was able to move around the ring, keep him off with the jab, look dominant with his size. You know, look like the Nordic Viking that we know the name to be. And then Whtye, he was just a smaller dude just coming in, lunging, firing, showing you that speed troubles the heavy foot Robert. Like his limbs just ain't going there. And Whtye landed some nice, ninja shots on Robert Hernandez, and he was able to tag him a lot, put him against the ropes with some pressure for 8 rounds. Maybe not dominate a full round, but I believe he did enough to win at least 5 of those rounds. I do. But Robert Hernandez picked up a victory. You could check it out. The fight is up there. It's on the World Wide Web, the internet. And then you have Joyce. I believe he's 32 years old, a rookie. He fought it all in the WBS series. I think he's something about Olympian. I'm not quite sure, but I believe he's somewhat Olympian, like a silver medalist, I want to say. Super fast track. They're trying to fast track him by the best they can publicly, but giving him kind of shit fights. That's what it seems like. But they did mention they're trying to publicly talk themselves big with mentioning Derek Chishora's name. We'll see if that little name mention gets any legs to that story, or is it just like a lot of fighters and promoters do, with David Haye being his promoter. Maybe he has a little something with Derek, but just calling out his name so that way you could talk about Joyce, talk about him, keep his name relevant to the next fight. So we know how it is. People called out Triple G when he had fights lined up. It happens all over the place in boxing. It happens all over the place. So we will see how that plays out with Joyce and Derek Chisora. It was nice to hear Joyce in a couple months back build himself up for this fight, which was, I didn't even really talk about it, a 1-round knockout against Donnie Palmer. They just filled each other around, a couple swinging here, then all of a sudden, hey, he misses, I come over the right, connection to the temple shot, legs buckle, done deal. Another learn nothing, don't see nothing, can't judge Joyce, one hit stunner. You can't really judge someone on those. You're better off watching a sparring film and give an opinion. So, like I said, he added noise to this fight with the talk of how he could beat Daniel Dubois. Now, after this fight, he's talking about Derek Chisora, so he's verbally keeping his name out there, or at least David Haye is. So that was the little heavyweight mention. But like I said, Robert Hernandez, and he's quickly becoming a certified gatekeeper. Quickly. And you figure with the heavyweight division, with the names out there, you figure you got Amir Mansour's always looking for an active fight. He's always looking for he's always looking for a scalp to take. Amir Mansour, always. This is what I'm saying. I'm just going I'm just going to hit the bottom of the brackets. Amir Mansour, number 13 for the WBO. Number 9, Caballal, the guy who defeated Chisora, for the European heavyweight. He's out there. He might take a Robert fight. Adam Nowalki, number 15 for the IBF. Duhapis, Why does it sound like they already fought, man? It's two Viking ass names. Lucas Browne, number 14 for the WBA, is taking on Dillian Whyte. Lucas Browne, where is he? He's number 13. 13 in the WBC, taking on Dillian Whyte. And we know that fight is coming up the 14th. Ooh. That's a good one. We could talk about that one right now, actually. Even though before we do, thumbs up for Charles Martin and Robert Helenus right here on Double RT Boxing. Thumbs up that fight. Like I said, Robert Helenus could easily become a nice little step up for a... Dude, he could even be a comeback fight for Bermain Stavern, man. Really, he could be that type of fight. He could be a step up for Cabal and Nawalki. Carlos Takam, looking for a nice name. These other people really don't. Right, that might be the big name that Brian Jennings could come out on. You know, if Brian Jennings is going to get himself a fight, because he's been fighting known bodies on his comeback build since Luis Ortiz. Brian Jennings, I'm not going to go look up his box rec, you know, but he's been fighting nobodies. You know, no one to get him ready for what he is trying to accomplish. Let's put it that way. He's fighting boxers, but no one to get him ready for what he's trying to accomplish. Now, if he is trying to get that name, trying to get some shine back to his build back, Robert Helenus is the name for him. Considering the opponents he is fighting, Robert Helenus is a slight step up from the opponents he's fighting now, but with the name that's much bigger than the threat of offenses coming back. Robert Helenus he's hittable, and Brian Jennings could pressure him with some firepower. I think that'd go good for Brian Jennings trying to do his comeback. Now we can move on to the heavyweight matchup, that of Dillian Whyte and Lucas Browne. The breakdown for those guys, you got Dillian, how I say, to me, the legs and the feet is going to play a big part in this matchup. That and the gas tank. If Lucas Browne has a gas tank on him, we're in for a treat. Because I do believe, although Dillian Whyte is game, he has heart, he throws with bad intentions, his feet, his footwork, and sometimes his leg, his bottom half work, leg and feet work, is a little, it's not set properly, and he overthrows, or it's not thrown from the correct angles, and he either overshoots it or he throws him off position, or he wings his shot wide. And I think his that's why I'm gonna, and with Lucas Browne, he's gonna be giving up speed. But it seems like he takes those little small steps, you know, like he's always got his feet in a better next punch position, you know, a little more defensively. So I'm giving the leg movement and the feet towards Dillian Whyte. Might have faster on balls of his feet movement, but I'm just saying overall boxing, I think I'm going with Lucas Browne. I think, you know, back and forth, he could fight, jab, he could move, he could walk the ring decently, keep the defensively, put some pressure. His feet is ready for the next punch. I said, while Dillian Whyte throws himself off, you know, That's about it. He's good on the ball of his feet, but his feet ain't set for the next punch, and he throws himself off. And defensively, well, I'm going to lean with, like I said, speed goes with the Dillian Whyte. The power, I'm going with Lucas Browne. Offensive selections and variation and speeds and all, speeds variation, punch variation, I'm going with Dillian Whyte. But the power, I'm going with Lucas Browne. Defensively, who do I think is easy? One thing I would like to see on this fight is there a reach difference? That is a very big thing to know on this fight. No. What is the reach in this fight, folks? Because I'm liking the fact of Lucas Browne could kind of walk the ring and kind of slowly maybe set Dillian into a trap, the overreaching. But at the same time, if what's the reach here? A 77 to a oh man, let's see this. 77 for Lucas Browne and a 78 for a Dillian Whyte. 6'4", 78. All right, so you got the taller man with a shorter reach in Lucas Browne, and the longer reach on the shorter man. So it kind of, I guess, neglects each other. Ooh, that is very, very. Can the speed and pressure of Dillian Whyte just run the gas tank, and the reaction time of Lucas Browne just not there? Or Lucas Browne still has it at 38, a nice 1-2 strong body stern shot. You know, that little left hook to the chest. Will he be able to punch in between the fast, wild Dillian Whyte shots? Like I said, Dillian Whyte is going to throw hard, but his pressure behind that jab, there's shots in between you can throw in between Dillian Whyte. And there is moments in fight where Dillian Whyte's style, he needs breaks. Now, what's going to be the key moment in this fight is who's going to be forced to fight when they want to rest. Each fighter is going to either, like I said, if Dillian Whyte doesn't get Lucas Browne out of there fast, the longer this fight goes on, I think it's Lucas Browne's fight. I think if Lucas Browne is able to hang around, walk the ring with a 1-2 and not be taking the damage of Dillian Whyte, he's going to cause him to overreach, and I think he's going to catch him. Now, I give Dillian Whyte, if he's winning, it's going to be within like a 6-round knockout. But if it goes past 6 rounds, I'm taking Lucas Browne on a shocking like 11th round stoppage of Dillian Whyte. I think it's going to be gas tank. Lucas Browne takes some of Dillian Whyte's shots. Dillian Whyte is reaching, getting tired, and I think Lucas Browne is going to catch him with something like an 11th round. Just, one of those exhaustion type fall hits. 11th or 12th round, Lucas Browne upset. Right here on the Double RT Boxing. That's what we're talking about. Now on that card also is a nice, like I said, today the 17th was, well, not the today, but what we're talking about today is people trying to climb the ranks. And on that card of the card of the Lucas Browne is also the Frank Boliani. He's having himself a nice little fight, so that should be something we're going to cover later on. So now that we're going from the 24th, we did a nice little breakdown and prediction. Let's gather ourselves up. Where are we at here on the Double RT Boxing Show? That's where we are at for sure. You're either right here or you're down there hitting the thumbs up. That's where you're at. Mr. A, this is where I'm at, giving you the thumbs up for tuning in. So we went over some light heavyweight discussions. Marcus Browne, Vosdick, mediocre performance against Meaty. We talked about Matty Askin stepping up with some heavyweight competition with Joyce and Helenus. A prediction for Robert Whtye and Lucas Browne. A little shout out for Frank Berlione trying to climb a rankings in his fight. And going back to the 17th is a welterweight. A welterweight by the name of Kudratillo abdukakhorov. You know, like I said, if you followed the show of the Double RT, the Ready Talk Boxing Show with your host, Mr. A, I say thank you for that support from the pilot to episode number 18. And if you are a new viewer who just found this episode somehow, thank you. If you found this from a breakdown prediction and you decided to check this episode out, thank you. But go back and watch it. But if you have been following the show and you need to hit your thumbs up, hit that thumbs up. Get this show known. You know, I did a video a long time ago in the pilots about welterweights to watch. I did like 10 welterweights that's not in the top 10. And I named a lot of names. Bradley Skeet. I named Laurent. And one of the names I named was Kudratillo abdukakhorov. I like this guy. I said he was my dark horse of the division. You know, if there's anyone that's gonna, you know, those people that come out of nowhere, the Julius Ndongos, the Buster Douglases, the people that come out of nowhere and beat somebody, it was gonna be this guy. You know, like I said, if there's anyone who's gonna like beat Spence, it'll be this guy. He has a style. Now, is his frame built to withstand the onslaught that he probably will most likely face when Spence, you know, getting his off? That's the only thing I'm not too sure about. His frame is a little fragile, you know. He seems like he might be able to get broken down. His gas tank is looking like about a B minus. It looked like enough pressure might drop him into a C minus, C plus type fighter. But he picked himself up a victory against Lazo Toth. Lazo Toth is like number 12th in the IBF. But this victory for Kudratillo put him, his number like 6 in the WBC, I believe. So we can look that up. It said this gave him the silver welterweight championship belt. Now, if you know what we talk about here on the Double RT Boxing Belt, belts, intercontinentals, internationals, silvers, you know, in terms, we talk about belts. And silvers, we know that's almost as like a stamped mandatory spot. You get a silver belt, you are fighting the champion. And who is the champion? That's no other than your lovely Keith Thurman. So, obviously, Keith Thurman got the mandatories of Sean Porter, Danny Garcia. So, he's tied up for about a good year. A unification, that's fine. So, about a good year and a half, that WBC belt is tied up. Kudratillo, with this silver he just picked up, he's probably gonna. Can you figure the WBC? Number 1, Sean Porter. 2, Danny Garcia. 3, Manny Pacquiao. 4, Vargas. Number 5 is Cesar Barbanuevo. I think that's who Keith Thurman's going to be fighting. I think that's who he's going to be fighting. And number 6 is Kudratillo. You know, so this guy, they said he was my dark horse about a year ago. They said it's deep in the pilot season of the RRT boxing show, but if you haven't seen him, like I said, this last fight right now, his TKOs, his knockouts has fallen off, but his name went from the silent assassin to the Punisher now. He fires. He could punch with you. He could punch first. He could punch. He could counter slip you. Fire off threes. He fires off good combinations. They're not arm punches, and they're not super knockout punches, but he knows how to pick up the strength. His defense, his defense is more playing the gap. If he could play the gap, that's more of his thing, and then he'll come in, score some shots, go away. He's okay at slipping and rolling, but his head movement could be a little better when he's firing, because when he does throw his shots, he does square up a little bit. So Thurman might be able to catch him right there. But I said, I'm giving this guy, I think his movement and his punch selection and speed variation and all that good stuff, I'm giving him a lot of upside and a lot of upsets in the top 5 across the brackets. The fight itself against Tooth, like I said, you see that he gets squared up, and Tooth was able to once in a while be first on him. But the fight itself, he was able to turn Tooth for 12 rounds. When he wanted to keep the fight in the center of the ring, outbox him, move, use the combinations, hooks to the body, mix up the power to the head. Tooth really didn't possess much threat to this fight to almost win a round or change the fight in any round. If Tooth did win a round, it was cause of what is this at? Kudratillo didn't do enough. That's how I felt. But like I said, number 6 in the WBC, number 7 in the WBA, number 7 in the IBF, and he's not even in the WBO. Ain't that something? Not even in the WBO. Well, across the board, like I said, 6, 7, and 7, all the way to the WBC and the IBF. So he's gonna somehow, if Thurman is victorious, he will run into this guy within a 2-year span, and that might be, people are going to be interested in who the hell he is. But if you tuned in and stay tuned in to the RRT boxing, we're going to know who Kudratillo Abdukakhorov is. He's the Punisher. That's my dark horse. Like I said, I got him beating Sean Porter. I got him beating Danny Garcia. I got him beating Jesse Vargas, Brandon Rios. I got him beating Granados. Aegis might be a tough fight for him. Aegis, because that'd be a tough fight. Jamal James might be a little tough, but I got him beating Bradley Skeet, and I like Skeet. That was the 17th fights that weren't televised. Now we're going into the fight that was televised. Like I said, we covered the Alexander Gvozdyk fight. Now the conlan fight was the special